Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we are on a very unique e-bike from Lectric. It's called the Lectric 1, and the biggest feature on this bike that you won't see on a lot of other e-bikes, almost all other e-bikes right now at least, do not have this feature, is the pinion gear shifting system that sits right between the two crank arms. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what that does and why that makes this bike so unique and so special. And that system is a very expensive system, and Lectric has put it on a bike and priced this bike at only $2,000. A lot of other bikes that have this system are way more expensive, and Lectric, being the company that gives you as much value as they can possibly give you, has made this product for you guys. And I'm pretty excited to test this bike. Today we're going to do all the usual tests. The 0 to 20 test, the long hill climb test, the steep hill climb test, the top speed test, all the tests. And we're also going to talk about the specs and components of this bike. But without further ado, let's do our 0 to 20 test. Throttle only, pedal assist 5. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, boom. Pretty decent torque off the line. Interesting. 20. Now, as you could tell, I don't know if you could tell, the throttle cut me off at 20 miles an hour. It's a hard cutoff at 20 miles an hour, and I did mess around in the settings. There is no way to change that. You will not get more than 20 miles an hour from the throttle on this bike. Lectric is trying to stay within the class system of class 1, 2, and 3, and you can make this bike any one of those classes. You can make it pedal up to 28 miles an hour, but the throttle will always cut you off at 20. And as you can tell, the speedometer is mostly accurate, so we are good to go in that department. Next test, long hill climb test. Let's see how this bike does. Throttle only, 3, 2, 1, boom. I'm surprised how good the torque is off the line on this little itty bitty bike. This is nice. I've been on more powerful bikes that have lower starting torque than this bike. Look at this. We're doing great, guys. All right, we're holding 17. I wonder if we're gonna be cut off at 20 miles an hour. Yeah, so we just cut out at 20 miles an hour at the finish line. So we'll take that time. That's more or less accurate. Next up, we're going to do a ghost pedaling downhill speed test. Let's see where the motor power cuts us out. Yeah, right at 28, the motor power cut us out. And I'm not putting any kind of pedal force into the pedals at all. It's just ghost pedaling. Handlebar width test. Look at that. Nice and narrow for a small bike like this. Perfect setup. Oh, telling you guys, this torque is surprising. I am curious to see how it's going to do on our steep hill climb test. All right, here we go. Steep hill climb test. Throttle only. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Let's see if it can do it. 48-volt systems like this, I'm just happy if the bike can do it. And I do see a watt readout on the display. We're pulling almost 1,300 watts. Guys, this is actually very good for this power bike. 8 miles an hour, 9 miles an hour. GPS says 8. That's pretty damn good. 1,300 watts. Okay, Lectric. I'm impressed. I am impressed. Not only did it do it, it did it decently fast. Next test, we're going to do our 20 mile an hour brake test. Ready, brake. Okay. So, as you can see, the bike is sideways. The rear wheel lifted up. The new testing setup for this brake test, what I'm going to start doing for you guys is I'm going to initiate the braking at this telephone post right here. As you could tell, this bike stopped on a dime. This is one of the shortest stopping distances I've ever seen on any bike. This is pretty impressive, I gotta say. So the brakes do work great. We are going to get into the details about what type of brakes this bike has during the specs and components portion of this video. So this is one of the lighter e-bikes out there. It's very lightweight. And one of the reasons Lectric was able to make this bike so light is because it does not have a rear suspension or a front suspension fork. It doesn't have any suspension at all. And you definitely feel it going over bumps. So like right now I'm on the sidewalk and it is bumpy. You want to lift your butt off the seat when you're going over big bumps because you will 100% feel it on this bike. Especially because this is not a fat tire e-bike. This has the more normal looking traditional thickness bicycle tires, and they are smaller as well. So bumps will definitely be felt on this bike. Just keep that in mind. Some of the ways you can make that better on this bike is by number one, upgrading the front fork yourself and or adding a suspension seat post, which I do believe Lectric has on their website as an accessory. So right now, sidewalk of doom, I am definitely feeling these bumps. Definitely a bumpy ride with this bike. Give you guys a quick top speed test. The motor does cut out at 28 miles an hour, but I want to show you anyway, just so you know what the top speed is. So right now we're ghost pedaling, not putting any force into the gears at all. As you can tell, top speed, speedometer says 28 miles an hour, GPS 26. If you do pedal harder, you could probably get a little bit more, maybe to 30, but it's your standard class 3 e-bike. So if you are someone who values sticking to the class systems of this country, class 1, 2, and 3 laws, this might be a good option for you. And before we continue this video review, let's head inside into the MCHQ and talk about the specs and components of this bike. See you guys in a bit. Alright guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the specs and components of the Lectric 1 e-bike with the automatic pinion shifter. Let's start at the top. At the top you have very nice rubber and locking ergonomic handlebar grips. This, by the way, is a Michow mirror that I installed myself. This is one of my favorite mirrors. Link to this in the description below. Hydraulic disc brake levers. Simple and easy to use control panel. And down here is a very nice looking ergonomically shaped thumb throttle. And you hold the power button to turn the display on. As you can see, we've got a watt readout, the speedometer, which pedal assist level you're on, the odometer, which you can cycle through trip distance, your range, and the voltage. So that is awesome that this display shows two things that I really like, voltage and wattage output. And it also shows you how much current you are currently using. So if I accelerate, that goes up. Nice. And it also shows you how long the bike has been on. And this display does have a USB port underneath for charging your accessories. This, by the way, is my GUB phone mount. This is one of the best phone mounts in my opinion. I've tried a bunch of them. Link to this in the description below. And over here you have your electronic gear shifter. The top lever is to shift up, bottom is to shift down. Have a listen to how quickly this shifts. Nice. And you don't have to move the bike to shift, it shifts at a standstill. And this has 6 gears, so when you switch up as high as possible, it'll give you a beep telling you you've run out of gears. Listen to how fast we can switch down. That's it, we're at the lowest speed. Moving on down, we have an adjustable handlebar stem. And what this does right here is it moves the entire handlebar forwards or into a more upright position. Just push this up right here, and this unfolds, and now you can bring this forwards if you want to. You can angle it down, whatever you want. And to lock this into position, just push that back down. And now your handlebars are locked in a more forward position, if that's something that you prefer. And moving on down, we have our foldable stem mechanism right here. Now this is not a foldable bike, but the stem does fold down. So you go ahead and just push this little red button in, fold that down, handlebar will fold down. I want to bring it back up. Click that right back in place and you are good to go. Up front on the frame, you've got some mounting holes for a front basket and other accessories. And this bike does come with metal fenders in the front and in the back. And of course, you also get a front headlight. I've never seen this mounting position before. Typically, the headlights are mounted a little bit higher up. This one is down on the fender. This is interesting. And it seems like this fender is mounted in a very sturdy way with this cross brace going up and down the sides. Here's what the rear tail light looks like when you hit the brakes. And when the lights are on, it does get brighter when you hit the brakes. The wheels are 20-inch spoked wheels. with these thinner style road treaded Chow Yang 2.5-inch wide tires. The sidewall of the tires do have a reflective strip, and this front wheel is held on with a through axle that you can remove using this lever right here. The front fork is a standard solid front fork, no front suspension. It looks like we have 180mm brake rotors in the front and in the back, and both brake calipers are dual piston calipers. Moving on down the frame, as you can see, there are some mounting holes for water bottle mounts and other accessories. And as you can tell, this is a step-through frame. I like how they added this cross brace right here. It is very good and handy for lifting the bike up. Get it? Handy. Get it? Looks like there are some more mounts for other accessories or another water bottle holder. The frame has this Class 2 sticker on it, but you can change the bike to Class 1 or Class 3 in the settings. Down here is the 6-speed pinion smart shift system. We're going to talk about this in a second. The pedals on this bike are really nice. They are metal and they have these metal spikes coming out, and they are removable. You can easily remove them by pulling this clamp, and then you can remove the pedals, and that will make storing this bike easier if you have to ever lay the bike down on its side. You're less likely to put weight down on these crank arms. This kickstand is mounted in the middle of the frame, and that will get in the way if you ever have to roll your bike backwards. The pedals are going to get in the way. Lectric branded medium width seat. It is on the firmer side, but it's not too bad. And the minimum seat height looks to be about 29 to 30 inches. And the maximum seat height ends up being about 37 to 38 inches. And back here you have a smaller sized rear rack, and it does have some bolts already attached, ready for mounting accessories. And check this out, guys. Look at all the bags and accessories that you can get for this bike. Look at that. Looks like they're having a sale now. You can get a lot of these accessories for free. Let's talk about this battery. So up top there is a small label which says that the battery will go into sleep mode after 48 hours of inactivity. I guess that's good. That's going to help preserve battery life on this battery. And they say to wake it up, you just push this charge level indicator right over here. To remove the battery, you use one of the supplied keys. Insert and twist. Turn the key and the battery will slide right out. And this battery is on the medium to smaller size. If we take a look at the label, it says that it is 48 volts, 14 amp hours. So this is definitely a smaller, more lightweight battery. And with a small battery, you don't really need a big charger. This charger is a 2 amp charger. Put this back in. Clicks right in. And on the website they do say that this battery is UL 2271 certified, and the bike itself is UL 2849 certified. Now this motor down here is Lectric's M24 motor, which is rated for 48 volts and a nominal 750 watts, which they advertise as an extra quiet stealth motor. And on the website they say this motor peaks at just over 1300 watts. And it looks like the controller is built in to the battery cradle, and Lectric does say that this has a 24 amp controller. So at the nominal 48 volts, this motor back here is going to peak at about 1152 watts. Back here is a single gear that actually holds onto the Gates carbon belt, and you don't need any gears back here because remember, all 6 of them are right up in front. And this Gates carbon belt is going to be very quiet, low maintenance. You don't need any maintenance on this whatsoever. And this is a premium feature that Lectric included on this bike. This pinion smart shifting system does have an app. All you have to do is hold down this bottom shifter for a bit, and then the system will beep and go into a pairing mode. And after that, you can pair the app to your bike. Now there's 2 ways this shifter can work. You can use what's called Smart Select, and what Smart Select is it simply shifts to a desired gear when you stop. So let's say you like starting from 2nd gear, it will always switch to 2nd gear every single time you stop. Now I prefer the pre-select method. What this does is it automatically shifts into a gear that matches your speed. So if you're going faster, this will switch up for you. If you're going slower, it'll switch down. You can also make it shift based on a target cadence. I like to go slow, so I'll set mine to 50. You can also reverse the trigger mapping, and then there's some other settings where you can calibrate your smart shifter and device information. Let's talk about some of the functions of this display. So some of the cool things you can do with this is if you hold the plus and the power button, you can cycle it from a normal speedometer to show you your max speed or to show you your average speed. and then holding those buttons down again will bring it back to a normal speedometer. To get into the advanced settings, you hold down the plus and minus buttons. P2, you can switch from miles an hour to kilometers an hour. P3 is voltage, don't touch that. P4 is after how many minutes does a bike turn off. P5, don't touch that. P6 is the wheel size, so changing this will either make the speedometer more or less accurate. P7, don't touch that. P8 is where you can switch this from class 2 to class 3. This is the speed limit, so I have it set to 45. You can also bring it back down to 32 to make it so that the pedal assist tops you out at 20 instead of 28 miles an hour. And as you can tell, it does quickly switch back to the main menu, so you have to act fast when adjusting these settings. Switch that back to 45. P9 is throttle 0 start. So if it's at 0, the throttle will work when the bike is standing still and not moving. If it's at 1, it will only work if the bike is already moving. With P10, you can switch it from being a throttle only bike or a pedal assist only bike, or both throttle and pedal assist. P11 is adjusting the pedal assist sensitivity. So right here it says 3, the default setting. After 3 seconds, it's gonna give you maximum power. If you bring this down to 0, it'll give you the max power through pedal assist instantly, 0 seconds. Let's set it to 0. Now P12 are the light settings. So right now it's set to 0. Normal light operation. When you turn the lights on, the front light will stay solid, the back light will stay solid, and when you pull the brake lever, the back light will light up. However, if you switch it to 1, the lights are going to blink constantly. So if you do want more safety and you want to be seen easier, set this to 1 and all the lights will constantly be blinking. And if you go back to the main menu, you can see this little light symbol is flashing. The back light does turn solid when you hit the brake, and then when you let go, it starts flashing again. Let's bring that back to 0. P13 is how fast the walk mode is. So 0 is 3 miles an hour, 1 is 3.7 miles an hour. P14, don't touch that. P15, don't touch that either. P16 resets the odometer. P21 will toggle if walk mode is enabled or disabled. Now P22 is interesting. What this does is it adjusts how much power you get with the throttle in different pedal assist levels. So when it's set to 0, it will limit how much power I get in the throttle in pedal assist 1 and 2. And now when I throttle in pedal assist 1, see how slow it is? There's pedal assist 2. Then I get full power only in 3. However, when I switch it to 1, now when I'm in pedal assist 1, I can get the full 20 miles an hour.
All right, guys, welcome back to the ride. Let's keep talking about this bike, and let's talk about this pinion gear shifting system that this Lectric 1 bike has, because it's got a couple cool features in the software that you can adjust, which we're going to do right now. So if you open the Smart Shift Pinion app, by the way, to pair it, you just hold down the bottom trigger of the shifter, hold that down until you hear some beeps, and then you can easily pair your phone app to your bike. All right, so it looks like we are connected. So currently, right now, we're in Start Select, where what it does is when you stop, it shifts automatically into a specified gear. So right now, I have it set to start at gear 2. And what I want to do is switch it to pre-select. And what that does is it selects a certain gear based on whatever cadence I want. So target cadence, we're going to keep it nice and slow at 50. And what's unfortunate is that it doesn't seem like I can do both start select and pre-select at the same time. It's either one or the other. But let's try that out and see how it goes. Yeah, so when I slow down, I can feel it shifting down for me. Wow, that's very cool. And in order for it to switch, I do have to stop pedaling. So right now I'm pedaling. My cadence is more than 50, right? But if I stop, it shifts and it keeps going. So I'm slowing down. I can hear it shifting down all by itself. How cool is that? And all the gear shifts are extra crisp, extra fast, extra smooth. Never have to worry about adjusting your derailleur, greasing the gears, greasing the chain, none of that. This is a crazy feeling, honestly. It's like AI is powering my bike. I would say this is probably my favorite mode, more than the mode that starts you off at a certain gear when you're stopped. I think I like this a lot more. Yeah, so we're slowing down. I can hear it shifting. Wow, that is so cool. And if I do want to shift, I can shift right here. I have these electronic knobs. So it won't shift while you're pedaling automatically. If you do want it to shift faster, you could just hit one of the shift buttons and it'll shift for you while you're pedaling. So these buttons, thankfully, you can override whatever settings it has. Very, very cool. It's just shifting down quickly by itself. So quietly, too. What a neat feature. Let's check where the ghost pedaling is on this bike. So let's get up to speed as fast as we can. Shift up all the way into the highest gear. So we're going to pedal hard. Oh yeah, you're not going to ghost pedal this bike. No way. I'm pushing hard into the pedals and it's topped out. Remember guys, the motor cuts you off at 28 miles an hour. You're not going to ghost pedal this bike. So that will not be an issue, thankfully. Speaking of pedaling, let's check out the different pedal assist levels. So we're bringing it down to pedal assist 1. You can hear that shifter downshifting for me. Pedal assist 1 will give us, looks like 10 miles an hour. Pedal assist 2, looks like give us about 15 miles an hour. Pedal assist 3 gives us about 16, 17 miles an hour. Okay, pedal assist 4 gives us 26, and pedal assist 5 gives us a tiny bit more. Okay, so I guess 28. And by the way, the throttle is linked to every pedal assist level. So for example, we're on pedal assist 3 right now. Throttle only. Yeah, it just cut me off at 20 miles an hour. And pedal assist 4 and 5 will still give you 20 miles an hour because remember, this bike, throttle only, will only give you up to 20 miles an hour. Talking about the contact points of this bike, the seat is an average width seat, and it is on the firmer side. Knowing most of you guys, you're going to switch the seat out anyway. That's one of the first mods a lot of people do to a lot of these bikes, so we might as well not even talk about that. The pedals are removable, and they are fantastic. They have these metal spikes coming out of them, so they're going to very nicely grip onto your shoes. You're not going to be slipping your feet off the pedals. And the grips are very nice as well. They are ergonomic style, locking handlebar grips. So overall, contact points on this bike are phenomenal. Brake test. A little squeaky there. Oh, look at that. Quick shifting down. And then it shifts up by itself. I cannot get over that. The handlebar electronics are great. This display is fantastic. It does show you your wattage. So how many watts you are currently using on this bike. It's got the battery bar in there as well. Shows you your pedal assist level and how many miles you're currently on. You can also cycle through your trip distance, your range, and it shows you the battery voltage. This is fantastic. So the two biggest features that I think every e-bike display should have. Number 1, battery voltage. Number 2, how many watts you're pulling. This display has it. Thank you, Lectric, for adding those in. Minimalist style control panel, but it's easy to use. Thumb throttle on the left, and it does have a nice ergonomic shape to it as well. So that feels great. And of course you get your electronic shifting system on the right-hand side. This thing shifts smoother than anything else I've ever experienced. Fast, crisp, smooth shifting, and it's automatic too, if you want it to be. Or you can do it manually. Whatever you want. The tires on this bike are nice and quiet. They have more of a smoother road tread on them. And this bike being as light as it is, having the smaller wheels and the shorter wheelbase, makes it incredibly nimble. Very, very, very nimble feeling bike. A lot of e-bikes out there that I'm sure you guys love, you guys have seen them on my channel, are big, huge, powerful beasts of an e-bike. Some might even question whether we should call them e-bikes or not. This is most definitely an e-bike. It is closer on the spectrum to acoustic bicycles versus those giant motorcycle style e-bikes out there. The biggest reason why is because this bike promotes you using the pedaling. So if you are someone who's buying an e-bike and you want to do a lot of pedaling, this might be a good option for you. Because the pedaling experience on this bike is something that you won't get on probably 99% of other e-bikes because they do not have this pinion shifting system. This thing is something else. It's very cool. And I am going to leave a link to this bike in the description below. Feel free to check it out. Using that link to purchase this bike will help the channel at no extra cost to you. For those of you guys that are using my links, thank you very much. I do really appreciate your support. Feel free to check out some of the other links in the description as well. I've got a bunch of awesome e-bikes listed down there, along with my maximum charge approved accessories, this mirror, my phone mount, a bunch of other accessories down there I'd recommend checking out. If you guys like content like this, please feel free to subscribe to the channel if I've earned your subscription. Like the video if you like it, and if you don't, tell me why in the comments. Tell me why you're mad. Seriously, tell me what you think about this bike. Leave a comment below. This is a very, very interesting offering from Lectric, and this is one bike I am going to make more videos on. It is so cool. This shifting system is just so interesting. I can't get over it. That's it for today, folks. Until next time.